Hi everybody, Erin here from Creative Soul in Motion. Thanks so much for joining us on this journey, this video interview series, The Ripple Effects of Believing. On the line today, I have Heather from Vital Being Wellness. Hi Heather.
Hi, Erin. Nice to see you today.
Nice to see you. Thanks for taking the time to talk with all of us today.
Of course, my pleasure.
So I would love for you to start out with just a quick synopsis of your background and where you started and kind of where you are now.
Okay. I started my journey to where I am now, I would say probably in my undergraduate and college. I got a degree in sociology and in gender and women's studies, which basically I chose that path because I wasn't sure how to put what I actually wanted to do in the world into the box of a career. So I got to study people and what people do and how people think and how men and women differ, and that was all super fascinating to me. After I got my degree, it was a liberal arts kind of general degree. I did a whole bunch of seasonal work in the backcountry. I waitressed. I went traveling. All part of what I now see as my process of figuring out how the heck to put me and what I want to offer to the world and what I like doing into the box of a career and a career path. I got a Master of Science in Environmental Studies because I thought maybe that would be a useful thing. Turned out not to be. Well, not that it wasn't useful, but it's not my career path.
Yeah.
And after graduate school, when I was working for a nonprofit here in Montana, found this thing called coaching. And I knew there were therapists and I knew there were, counselors and things like that. But I didn't know up until that point that there was such a thing as a coach. And it seemed like suddenly this God ray shone down from heaven and was like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And I went, oh, I've always been the one that my friends have come to for advice and to have those kind of side conversations about their concerns that they haven't felt comfortable talking to other people about. And I loved that. I loved playing that role in people's lives. And I loved offering my own experiences for a sense of camaraderie and a sense of context for their own struggles. And so at this point, I've gotten my certification in holistic wellness coaching. I'm also certified as a 200-hour registered yoga teacher and have been weaving those two together to work with women around stress reduction and anxiety management. It's a place that I personally have come from and dealt with most of my life, and I really feel like that's my dharma in this world. It's my path.
I love that. And I think that really brings up one theme that I'm hearing from the beginning and brings me to my first question.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk about the fact that you felt like there was a box that you had to fit your career into. Clearly that means that you felt pretty limited. What else did you feel, or what else were you experiencing, during your undergrad or your master's or before you found this coaching and yoga calling?
What other limitations? I think particularly while I was in my undergraduate, I really was struggling with what I think a lot of us feel is pressure from our parents. My parents' generation, both of them, they graduated from college with their degree and they got a job in their field and they've been in that field forever, which is wonderful and good for them. But they wanted me to do the same thing. And number one, I didn't know what that field might be. I didn't know what box I wanted to put myself in that I could get a degree that would then transfer into a career. But number two, I wasn't sure I really wanted to take that path.
Yeah.
So there was some definite pressure from kind of the generation before to get a practical degree that would then translate quickly into a career and get me paid, $65,000 a year, and I could start my retirement fund. And as I slowly started to think about an alternative way of approaching that, there's still definitely some pushback on the general societal level to this path that is nonlinear and this path that doesn't allow you to check one of those boxes on like the census as to what you are. It's not easily defined anymore, and I think that's a beautiful way to pursue your passion.
So I definitely feel like a lot of people can relate to the limitations or this box-like feeling of constriction and the pressure. And it sounds like you obviously got past that. So what inner power or beliefs helped you continue down this path when there were so many, obstacles in the way?
I would say at first it wasn't so much an inner power as an inner brick wall.
Ooh.
I really felt like, I was trying so hard to fit myself into this 9 to 5 job structure. I was getting sick all the time. I was, having problems in my relationship. I was really starting to manifest in very material ways in my life. And it unfortunately got to that point before I went, oh my God, I've got to change something here. And as soon as I started making a shift, literally as soon as I signed up for my coaching program, I really started seeing changes in my life. And those changes are all the motivation a person needs to continue on that path. The real deep feeling of conviction of, oh my God, yes, this feels good. This feel like bubbly. I remember coming home from my 9 to 5 job and hopping on the phone with a client and feeling like a totally different person. Just that really deep and abiding sense of this is right. Even in those days when it's scary, even in those days when I was exhausted, I kept coming back to that.
Yeah. It sounds like you actually, in a way, took down the brick wall and opened yourself up to some degree.
Yes.
That's so interesting.
I had to hit the wall first, which is unfortunate. Yeah. And I really hope that your viewers, your readers can take action before they get to that point, because it's really unpleasant. But when we start getting those indicators, our bodies and our hearts and our spirits start sending us messages along the way, and we can choose to listen to them and change things before it gets to that point.
I love that you bring up a couple of things. The fact that there were issues within your relationship, I think that's an area that people don't realize could be holding some of the frustrations that you're subconsciously feeling, and then in your body. I feel like those are two areas, because they're somewhat external, that you feel like maybe there isn't that connection, but they really are.
They're absolutely connected. And I think for each individual person it manifests differently. I know for me, my body is a really amazing kind of indicator system of how I'm doing spiritually, emotionally. And, it depends on the individual where that manifests, but it will definitely start manifesting externally.
Yeah. So you did mention that once you found your coaching and now your yoga, that it felt right. What gave you the courage to act, or what was that tipping point that led you to register for the coaching and start taking on clients?
Trust. And that's something that I still every day have to kind of give myself a pep talk. But trusting that this is my gift. This is what I am supposed to bring into this world. And it's different for all of us. Some people are really meant to be accountants, and they're really good at that. And that's, once I kind of settled into that space and felt felt things click into place that, oh, this is what I'm supposed to offer to the world. I had to trust that even though I didn't necessarily understand and couldn't predict how this would all work out in the long run, how things would evolve and develop over the course of my coaching practice or over the course of my yoga teaching. If this is supposed to be my path, my only job is to walk it. Did one day at a time.
I love that.
At a time, and just trust that this is what I'm here for.
That's beautiful. Walking your journey one day at a time. I really love that. I think it almost takes the whole journey and breaks it up into smaller pieces that you can manage better.
Mm-hmm.
So if, the audience or anybody out there is listening to this, it's almost like saying, you don't have to get from point A to Z. Just keep making movement.
Exactly. And ask yourself, am I okay and good in this moment right now? Yep. Okay, great. And then, next moment.
I love that.
Particularly when I think you're starting your journey, you want to have it all figured out from the get-go. You want to know, this is who I'm going to be, this is what I'm going to call my business, this is, how much money I'm going to make and how I'm going to make it, and you can't know. You just have to trust that it'll all work itself out.
I love that. So I hear be open and trust so far. I think those are two huge messages that are hard for a lot of people. I know they're hard for me.
Me too.
But I think that, like you said, things fall into place. There's a harmony that almost comes into your life when you bring those two aspects together.
Absolutely.
So I know we've talked a lot about your journey and more of your inner beliefs and how you got from, being an undergrad that didn't really fit into a box to where you are now. But what other resources, maybe external, like books or sites or people, did you rely on during this, moment of transformation, this personal revolution?
Honestly, I hate to sound cliche because I'm pretty sure that everyone else in the coaching world would cite her too, but Danielle Laporte is out of this world fantastic. I loved her writing. I love the Firestarter sessions. For me, her short, to the point, no nonsense. You gotta get out of your own way and do good in this world. Kind of language was exactly what I needed when I started because I was so all up in my own way that I couldn't see where my next steps should be, even though it was right in front of me. I think the other thing that was absolutely invaluable to me as I was getting started was other people in my profession who were also getting started. And I found them through my coaching training program. I also found them through a few different online forums. I have Skype dates. I still have Skype dates with them regularly. Just reaching out to other people to connect and share experience, share gripes, share struggles, share celebrations was so very important to me because starting your own business can feel really lonely.
Yeah.
Starting practice, starting your own journey, particularly if you're working from home, it gets lonely. So reach out, create community, create support networks, create a mastermind group, whatever it is, you feel particularly called to do. I can't express how valuable that has been for me.
I'm a big Danielle Laporte fan myself, so I have to agree with you on that. But I kind of like what you slightly mentioned about the feeling of being lonely. Because at the beginning you talked about how even though you are living your passion and your purpose, there's still a little pushback from the rest of society in some ways. And I feel like if you were completely alone and didn't have that community, it'd be really easy to feel like you were crazy or you were wrong or maybe this was the bad choice or something.
Right. And I feel really blessed to live in a kind of funky town where a lot of people run their own businesses. I mean, it's kind of strange to go to the coffee shop at like 2 on a Thursday and have it be totally full and not of students.
Yeah.
But it is true, when you work from home, when you're an entrepreneur, particularly when you're an entrepreneur who doesn't fit neatly into some sort of category, um, coaching is, a lot of people still don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So I find myself having to kind of explain myself to people and explain why it's valuable, and yes, this is my whole career, and yes, I can support myself doing this. So it is really important to have those other people to serve as a lifeline sometimes when you have
Yeah.
those sorts of days and need some validation.
So I do want to ask, just in case anyone's curious, can you tell us what coaching program that you actually went through?
The Institute for Integrative Nutrition, which
Very
is
cool.
out of New York. Yep.
It's a great
It's
program. So now that we've looked at your journey and how you got here, how have you noticed changes in the rest of your life, or how you feel, or just your daily well-being now that you're actually kind of in that spot you want to be, or at least getting there? You're following your heart.
Mm-hmm. Whew. The changes have been immense. It's funny. The other day I went back into a journal that I had started sometime at the beginning of the year, and I had started it off with a page of "I deserves," which is one of my favorite journal prompts. And I read through it and went, "Oh my God, I am there. I'm living that. Whoa!
Yay!
I think one of the most important things that I have learned through my journey is the power of desire and the power of setting intentions and the power of following your truth. And I mean, the synchronicity that has started happening in my life, the way that, one thing doesn't work out just so another thing can, or the timing of the way things happen. When you're open to see those, and when you're open to receive whatever abundance might be coming your way, I
Yeah.
can't even describe how incredible it is to start seeing my life just really take on the shape around me that I've always desired. Instead of feeling like I never have time for my yoga practice anymore, I have a really wonderful, strong yoga practice that feels really good. I've attracted women into my life who have created this beautiful sisterhood, that we dance, and we have beautiful conversations about femininity and spirituality and growth, and um, I really believe that by putting out into the world, this is me, this is my truth, this is what I want to bring to the world, you attract more of the same and more of what you need in your life.
I love that. I like how it's not only, certain things that you can think of, it's just everything. And how the more open and the more trusting and the more maybe intentional you are in some ways, it opens up everything. And it actually makes me think of one of my favorite mantras or quotes. It's "I believe in the harmony of the universe." And I say that whenever something goes wrong, or when I can't really understand why things are playing out the way they should be or the way they are.
Yes, yes. I certainly have done my fair share of, really? Okay.
So I have to say we're down to the last question. Do you have any advice, more than what you've already given us, for those that are hesitant to make the leap or to break out of this box?
Mm. Again, I think this is a hard one, but what do you have to lose? It's a really great and hard question to ask yourself, because initially you'll get that first layer of, oh, my steady income and my health insurance and my benefits and my regular schedule, blah, 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 blah. That's where the mind will go first. But once the mind has gotten its chatter out of the way and you've released that and watched that thought pass, what do I have to lose? Unhappiness? A lack of satisfaction? Illness? Stress? Tension? Okay. I'm pretty cool with losing all those things. You know, and what do I have to gain? So much. You have so much to gain by following the truth of your heart. You'll be coming into alignment with what really is your purpose here on this earth. Your purpose here in your community, your purpose in the greater well-being. And there's no greater gift to give yourself than allowing yourself to rest in that place. Because that's when things start to feel not easy, but there's a sense of ease because it's natural. It's real for you.
I love that. I think that's the perfect way to end this. So thank you, Heather. You've been fabulous. And I know that everyone's going to learn a lot from your journey. And can you tell everybody where to find you, just in case?
Absolutely. You can find me on the interwebs at www.vitalbeingwellness, all one word, .com. And from there you can find links to me on Facebook and Twitter.
Well, thank you, Heather. I know that your story of living your passion, your purpose, will be a feather of inspiration to be added to those hesitant to fly. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Erin. Wonderful to talk to you.